I've been running through some analyst predictions. We've got 8 out of 9 predicting a neutral stance from Sanusi today. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I think I also share that view. Sanusi has actually come forward to say that he doesn't expect interest rates or the MPR rates to be moved upwards in the short term, because generally the trend is that there would usually be a lag between the partial removal of the fuel subsidy and its impact on inflationary pressures. So in the immediate term, we expect MPR rates to remain unchanged at 12%, but I expect that over the next few months we should start to see that inch up to sort of curtail some of the inflationary pressures we expect to see in the market.
Now, Sanusi has pointed out, as I said, that the inflationary impact of the hike in the fuel price has been over-exaggerated by the market. Do you have any predictions at this point in time in terms of the inflation outlook and the inflationary impact of a price of 97 naira per litre for oil?
I mean, the initial estimates of the CBN was that they expect inflation to be somewhat between 14 and 15% by the middle of the year. But that was assuming that, there would be full deregulation of the petroleum subsidy. But obviously that wasn't the case. We saw a significant removal of, most of the subsidy that was in existence. So I expect inflation to settle somewhere between, 12 to 14%, but the midpoint of that is somewhere, more accurate, I would think.
The Senate is also proposing a benchmark oil price to $75 per barrel, and that's from $70 per barrel. That essentially means more hands more money rather in the hands of government and less for the excess crude savings account. And of course that is concerned with regards to a fiscal spend. What are your thoughts on the inflationary impact of $75 a barrel?
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think it's actually a concern. Obviously, there will be a lot more spending, and as we've seen, around at least over 70% of our total budget is being spent on recurrent expenditure. So we expect that, once the benchmark oil price is raised from 70 to 75, the government and or the various arms of government should have several hundreds of billions of more naira to spend, which would obviously create some inflationary pressures in the system. So we're of the view that the CBN would be under pressure to increase MPR rates once the benchmark has moved upwards and the impact of the removal of the fuel subsidy starts being felt in the system.
Let's cast our eyes quickly over to the equity market. Looking at the banks, Access and Intercontinental have said that their combination, their tie-up has been successfully completed. That means they rank amongst Africa's top 10 banks according to the Bankers magazine. Are you impressed with the speed at which they've been able to combine their operations?
Yes, I think most of the legal framework has been obviously approved by the various courts, and that's pretty impressive. Obviously, they've also had support from the CBN as well as the federal government in this regard. And in terms of the financial ratios, the asset size and number of depositors, it would definitely rank among the big players in the market. But I have to sound a word of caution. Generally, integration processes usually take several years to start to materialize. I think that they're going to have to decide on the optimal amount of staff and personnel that they want to keep. So they have to make the tough decision of whether to continue to keep all the people on board or start to lay off some people as we're already starting to see. So generally our expectation is that in M&A transactions there are usually challenges that start to settle over a few years. So we expect that it would take a few years for us to see the benefits or not on the financial performance of Access Bank.